We all want to study and learn as much as possible as quickly as possible. But to understand, retain, and implement what you learn is vitally important. But obviously, the speed at which you can do it is also crucial. And the quicker you can learn, the better it will be for you. In the modern, fast-paced world, we are bombarded with information, and we need to retain what is relevant and discard what we don't need, and we need to know the difference. In an ideal world, you will have all the time you need to given unlimited time to complete your work. Your teachers and lecturers will teach at a certain pace, and you will be expected to keep up. There will be multiple subjects to focus on, deadlines for assignments, and exams to prepare for, so the time it takes you to learn becomes critically important. But in order to attend lectures, complete assignments, do well in exams, and achieve your potential, you have to study effectively and efficiently. If you can't do this, then you will struggle to reach your full potential, not because of the level of your intelligence, but because you are missing a vital skill. No matter what you want to succeed at in life, you need to learn and master certain skills. For example, a doctor studies medicine, an electrician learns about electricity, and an entrepreneur needs business skills. So why not apply the same principles to learning and become a successful student by studying how to study? So most of us would like someone to teach us a simple study technique and hand us a study plan that we can implement to make us better students. But unfortunately, in reality, it doesn't work like that. Like all skills, learning study techniques and establishing effective study plans takes time and effort and is a step-by-step process. There are no quick fixes, and you need to begin at the beginning, and that means having a general understanding of how memory works. So the brain is a complex organ, and the science behind how we retain and retrieve facts is naturally complicated. But in simple terms, there are three basic steps to remembering something. So the process begins with encoding, is followed by storage, and ends with the eventual retrieval of the information when it is needed. So the first step in creating a memory is encoding. This is where the brain analyzes various sensory inputs and decide what needs to be stored and what can be discarded. Information that is worth remembering is then stored either in your long or short-term memory. So concentration is necessary to successfully encode memories. We are bombarded with information all the time, and the brain needs to decide what to keep and what to discard. And in order for the brain to properly encode a memory, you need to be paying attention. If you're not paying attention to something, the brain will not recognize it as important and will be less likely to retain the information as a long-term memory. Therefore, how much information you pay for the information you receive is an important factor in how well you will remember it later on. But once a memory has been created, it is stored either as a short-term memory or as a long-term memory. Because of the sheer volume of information we're exposed to, it is impossible to remember everything forever, and therefore the brain stores some things for longer than others. And short-term memory is obviously less useful than long-term memory when studying. So one way information is encoded into long-term memory is through repetition. For example, if you ride your bike to school every day for a year, then that ability will be stored in your long-term memory, and you will never forget how to ride a bike. It is also easier to store information about subjects that you are already familiar with, because this information can be connected to memories that already exist in your long-term memory. So the last step in the memory process is retrieval. It is not it is no use having a lot of information stored in your brain if you can't retrieve it and use it when you need to, like during exams or when you're giving a presentation, for example. So often we forget something not because of a lack of intelligence or because we have a bad memory, but because it was either not properly encoded into a memory in the first place, or it is there but we don't know how to retrieve it. Distractions can be a stumbling block when encoding memories because distractions interfere with the encoding process. So if you study in a place with lots of distractions, you might think you will remember the information, but in reality, it has not been effectively saved in your memory. And when you have to write a test, you will not remember the facts you thought you learned, and you won't be able to retrieve them because they are not there. It's not just facts that you forget when you are distracted, but it can also mean that you forget where you have left something. For example, if you ride your bike to the mall to meet your friends, but when you want to go home again, you can't find your bike, right? So you may have forgotten when you left your bike because you were excited and distracted when you arrived, and therefore either did not register clearly when you left it, or you may not have retained the information properly. But you did come with your bike, and you know that for sure, but you don't remember where you left it. But if you can encode, store, and retrieve what you have learned effectively, then you will be able to study more and do better in your exams or in life in general.